2.5 years and still sells between 50 and 100,000 copies a year internationally. Well, Mike has had many very popular records since then. His most recent is called Moonlight Shadow. But between recording dates, he's also an avid collector of vintage guitars. He has 25 of them at home, 2 of which were made in about 1953, and he's brought some in today. Are these just collector's items, Mike, or do you use them?
Well, they're the tools of my trade. Like a carpenter would have lots of different tools to make what he makes. I have all these guitars which make different sounds to do what I do.
So you do use them on stage and in the studio?
Oh yes, yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Right, show us some of them. What about this one here?
Well, this is a modern one, in fact. It's a it's an ovation, but it's made by Adamus, and it's actually signed by the man who made it. It's very unusual. It's got this design. It's acoustically designed.
Yes, that's wood all around there, isn't it?
Yes, it's mostly some sort of fiberglass. Yeah.
That is.
Yes,
yeah.
but it's also great because you can plug it into an amplifier, and it's got an acoustic sound. I don't know whether you recognise this. Is that right?
That sounds great.
Nearly right, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's a beautiful sound.
Yeah. And that was made where?
In America.
How much is that worth?
It's worth about £1,500.
Is it really?
Yes. But talking about investments, I've got a guitar here which, about 1961, it would have been worth maybe £120 in 1961. But these days you have to pay £700–800 for them. If you're lucky enough to get a 1957 one, you can pay as much as £1,500 for it. And it still sounds great. It's a lovely sound.
Splendid.
Fender Stratocaster.
Yeah, who's still using those?
Oh, lots of people use them. Mark Knopfler uses these all the time. That's his characteristic sound.
Tell you what, you've just woken up about 5 million people.
Yes, I did. Yes, I gave them a shot.
Rude awake.
Marvellous, isn't it? Isn't that wonderful? What about the smaller one there, Mike?
Wow, this was in fact a gift from a German record company.
It's a real guitar, isn't it?
It's beautiful, yes. It's in fact got amplifier and everything all built in, and it's a wonderful little sound. You see?
And it's almost like a
got my name on
synthesizer,
it.
isn't it?
Yeah.
But it's great for travelling because you can put it in your suitcase, and if you have any musical ideas, you can just pick it up and play and everything. It's wonderful.
Now, right behind you is something which looks far more classical.
Oh, well, that's... I suppose you'd call this a Stradivarius of classical guitars. It's, in fact, a Ramirez made in Spain. It's a most beautiful sound.
How old is that?
Oh, it's brand new, but it'll age and it'll get more valuable as it gets older.
It's beautiful, isn't it, all round there?
Yes.
Yeah.
Without a tune, I'm afraid. But I won't play it because it's out of tune.
Are these a good investment?
Well, really, this sort of guitar, all these 50s, early 50s, 60s guitars, they do go up in value. And I reckon in about 100 years' time, it'll be almost like owning a Stradivarius to have a 1957 Fender Stratocaster. It'll be worth like a Stradivarius.
Marvellous. Well, thank you.
£1,000.
Thank you for bringing those in.
A pleasure.
Tip for anybody who wants to start collecting things.
Yeah.
Thanks very much, Mike.